I declined to alter my birthday dinner arrangements for my autistic nephew, but my brother assumed I'd move in and care for his son full-time while he takes his wife on their dream getaway. For context, my sister and I, both in our early 30s, have an older brother who's on his second marriage. His first marriage resulted in my nephew, Connor, now 15, who has autism. When Connor was born, my then sister-in-law's family was heavily involved in his care. My parents were also deeply committed. My sister and I, however, weren't part of that support system, which led to numerous disputes. I eventually told my parents they could either prioritize my brother's family, and I'd cut contact, or respect my boundaries and I'd stay connected. They chose the latter. My brother later divorced due to various issues, one being his ex-wife's insistence that my sister and I take on more caregiving responsibilities. I sympathized with him and still do, but I held firm on my boundaries. My sister did the same. I've been living out of state for some time, but recently accepted a job offer near home with a generous signing bonus. To celebrate, I invited my parents, sister, and brother for dinner at my favorite Korean BBQ restaurant. My parents confirmed it wasn't my brother's custody week for Connor, so everything seemed set. A week before my return, my brother called to say his ex had an unexpected conflict, meaning he'd have Connor during the dinner week, and his current wife would be away with her sisters. I suggested hiring Connor's usual sitter for the dinner night and offered to cover the cost. He declined and instead wanted to bring Connor to the dinner, asking to change the venue because Connor gets overwhelmed in busy settings. I refused, explaining this was my celebration, I was paying, and I wanted my favorite restaurant. He argued that Connor couldn't handle such a place, and I acknowledged that, reiterating my offer to pay for a sitter. He insisted on bringing Connor anyway. I told him he could, but I wouldn't attend if he did. It would just be him and our parents. He called my stance unfair, saying he'd step outside with Connor if he got overwhelmed. I reminded him of a past KBBQ outing where Connor had a meltdown, forcing them to leave early. My parents, feeling for Connor, often leave to help at my brother's house in such situations. I didn't want that disrupting my dinner. I wanted one stress-free evening. He cursed at me and hung up. The dinner went ahead with my sister, parents, and me. My brother didn't show. It was a lovely evening. My parents enjoyed it, but mentioned they wished my brother and Connor had been there. I agreed about my brother, but not Connor, pointing out he'd likely have a meltdown within 30 to 40 minutes and my parents would leave with him. They admitted this was likely, but felt I should have let him come and dealt with it. I said that was exactly why I didn't want that scenario. We didn't talk much afterward that night. Clarification. I've watched Connor before, including now for a few hours if my brother needs help. I don't do all-day or overnight care, though. He's a great kid, and it's not his fault, but I set boundaries because my parents, brother, and especially his ex-wife would overstep if given the chance. They wanted my sister and me to stay local after high school to help with childcare, which I refused. I visited both my brother and Connor before leaving, as I wanted to, but didn't apologize for choosing my preferred restaurant for one night. When my brother hosts dinners, we always go to a quiet local spot that suits Connor's needs, which is his food fixation. I'm fine with that and attend those meals, but for my event, I wanted a place I loved. Update 1. Thanks to everyone for the feedback, positive or negative. I read it all, even the harsh comments calling me selfish. They're valid. When I saw my brother and Connor before leaving, it was casual, playing with Connor and light chat with my brother. Today, I called him to clear the air and get more context. After about 5 minutes of small talk, I apologized if I seemed cruel or exclusionary toward Connor, but stood by my right to celebrate my way. He apologized for snapping, admitting Connor would have struggled at the restaurant, and it would have been a waste of my money. The place cost $80 per adult, $40 for Connor, regardless of whether he ate. He really wanted Connor included. I offered that for future events like my birthday. I'd happily have a family lunch at a Connor-friendly place, then do my preferred dinner with a sitter or his mom watching him. He asked if Connor could join the dinner too. I explained that I'd stick to places like KBBQ, hot pot, sushi, or fine dining, which overwhelm Connor due to lights, sounds, smells, and atmosphere. That's why I suggested a separate lunch to include him. I emphasized that for my milestones, I wanted to enjoy my choice without worry. I noted that when he or my parents plan meals, they cater to Connor, and I attend nearly all of them without issue. This time, I wanted something for me. He wasn't thrilled, but agreed it sounded fair and thought Connor would enjoy the lunch idea. He's also exploring sunglasses for Connor to help with bright or stimulating environments, as someone suggested. Then he asked if, now that I'm nearby, I'd be more involved as an uncle. I said yes, but not as he might hope. I'd visit their home, bring Connor's favorite food, and watch him once or twice a month for a few hours so he and his wife could have a date night. But I wouldn't be an on-call sitter like our parents, who often take Connor for spontaneous weekends or weeks when my brother and his wife want a getaway. I also mentioned that my new place isn't suitable for Connor due to his allergies to my cat and fragile items in my home. I wasn't allowed a cat at my parents' house because of Connor and my brother's frequent visits, which I respected. He didn't push back, saying our parents are fine with their role and that he's glad I'll be around more. Things worked out better than I expected. I'm excited to move back soon, and thanks again for the advice and criticism. Update 2, May 25th, 2025. I hoped I wouldn't need to post again, but here we are. I, 31 million, moved back to LA from Texas for a new job. My parents, brother, 40 million, his wife, and my nephew Connor, 16, autistic, live here. Connor has made progress since age 10, but remains nonverbal, stims frequently, and has meltdowns. Only my brother, his wife, his ex-wife, and my parents can reliably calm him. I watch Connor once or twice a month for a few hours at their house so my brother and his wife can have a break. I don't do overnights or multi-day care. Since our last disagreement, my brother and I have rebuilt our relationship, and he's respected my boundaries on babysitting. But a new issue has strained things. My brother was selected for a 10-day international work conference with his hotel covered. His company allows him to bring his wife if he pays her airfare. I'm thrilled for him, but childcare is the problem. The conference overlaps with a non-refundable NYC trip my parents and sister planned for her birthday, promised over a year ago. Connor's mom is also away for work. That leaves me. When my brother asked, I declined and explained why. I live 90 minutes away. The drive is manageable once or twice a month, but not for 10 consecutive days with LA traffic. Connor can't stay at my place due to his cat allergy and my fragile belongings. I don't work from home, and Connor has school, so I'd need to take PTO, which isn't feasible. The longest I've watched Connor is 6 hours. He had a meltdown I couldn't handle, and only my brother and his wife's return saved the situation. I can't manage 10 days. This might seem selfish, but I don't want to set a precedent. If I do overnight care once, they'll expect it again. I'm content with our current setup, occasional visits and short babysitting stints. I'd step up in an emergency, but this isn't one. I offered to visit on the weekend to give his wife a break, but I won't commit to 10 days and sacrifice my mental health or 8 PTO days for a non-emergency. He got upset, saying he thought my return meant he could count on me. I reminded him I'm not an on-call sitter and his wife doesn't have to go. He used harsh words and hung up. He brought it up in our family group chat, but my parents backed me, saying it'd be kind if I helped, but that I've never done overnight care, and his wife's trip isn't mandatory. He's barely spoken to me since. I feel bad for his wife missing out, but I don't trust myself to handle Connor for 10 days. Update 3, May 31st, 2025. Thanks for the advice. It confirmed I wasn't unreasonable. I messaged my brother with 2 options. He or his wife stays with Connor, or they arrange respite care through local agencies, and I'd check on Connor over the weekend without caregiving. I was firm about not watching him. His wife called, saying she and Connor's mom dislike strangers caring for him overnight, and this trip is a bucket list destination for her. I acknowledged that, but suggested she stay with Connor and plan a future family trip there. My brother tried to argue, but I cut him off, saying I wasn't debating. I recommended local organizations for special needs support, but they didn't engage. Exhausted, I told them to figure it out and hung up. I created a group chat with them, stating I'd visit once or twice monthly, but only with one of them present. I'm done watching Connor alone for now, though I might reconsider later. They apologized, explaining they saw this as a second honeymoon and hoped I'd step up, even offering payment. I refused, saying it's unfair to me and Connor. I stressed that he's their son, not mine, and they need to prepare for when our parents can't help, as they're aging. My brother said they'd start exploring care options with his ex-wife, but asked what they'd do if it didn't work. I offered to help research, but made it clear I won't be a fallback like our parents. His wife asked if I'd train to care for Connor like they do. I declined, valuing my independence while happy to be the fun uncle. They sent thumbs up emojis. His wife decided to stay with Connor, and we'll hang out in 2 weeks. I'll keep encouraging them to seek support programs to improve their quality of life and avoid future conflicts. Next story. My work best friend supported me daily and stayed late to help, then admitted he's had feelings for me since we met, but I unintentionally turned down his date offer. I, 25F, recently moved to this city and was grateful to find a friend. My co-worker, 29M, and I grew close, becoming work besties, sharing lunches and breaks. He invited me to concerts and movies with his friends, always keeping things friendly, no hint of romance. We'd carpool sometimes and started jogging together. We began exchanging reels and texting throughout the day. He'd come to my place to watch White Lotus since we both loved it. He never flirted, touched me, or suggested anything romantic, always introducing me as his friend. My job often requires late hours to prepare for the next day. He increasingly offered to stay and help, skipping drinks with other co-workers. That's when I sensed something more. One day, I opened up about how tough moving away from my family was, feeling guilty for leaving my parents and missing milestones with my 11-year-old sister as I'm the eldest. He was supportive, talking me through it. Then, while setting up a conference room, I asked why he kept helping when it wasn't his job. He admitted, "When you care about someone, you do things for them." Shocked, I asked what he meant. He confessed he's liked me since we met. I was confused. Why not ask me out sooner? He said he wanted to know me first. Then he asked me on a proper date. My commitment fears kicked in, and I nervously declined, saying it wasn't a good idea. He shut down, and it was awkward until we left. Now 2 days later, he's avoiding me. No texts, no eye contact, gone at lunch. When I asked about the date, he brushed it off, saying, "Forget it," and walked away. Did I ruin my chance? Should I push further? After reflecting, I'm interested. He's a great guy, calm and soft-spoken, unlike my fiery, short-tempered dad. I always wanted someone like him. We clicked as friends, but I never thought he saw me romantically. I think I hurt him by rejecting his offer unintentionally. Can I fix this, or have I lost him? Update, May 26, 2025. Thanks for the advice. Most suggested I be honest and plan a date for him. Feeling bold, I got his favorite Wingstop and showed up at his apartment. His shocked expression was priceless. I asked to come in, and he agreed hesitantly. I explained everything, how I panicked because I was caught off guard, scared of committing to a new city away from family, scared of losing my only friend, and worried the idea of me was better than the reality. I said I'm now excited about the possibility, seeing how compatible we are, and thanked him for all his support. I clarified my reaction was about my fears, not him. He apologized for icing me out, saying he was disappointed but would have resumed our friendship eventually. That reassured me, countering comments suggesting he was only friendly to pursue me or was immature. I never saw him romantically because he kept things so platonic. I assumed that was the deal. His confession was a shock. We decided to try dating. We had a deep talk about our life goals, which align well. I'm thrilled but still nervous, though I know I'd regret not trying. I'm planning a date with his favorite activities to make up for my initial reaction. We kissed, and it was wonderful.